guys, welcome back. So I'd put up a story inviting all of you to ask me questions about the family lockdown, my writing process, or basically whatever you wanted to know about me. And I was like, we've already done an answering reader questions for Humsuffers. Let's do something new. So this is the author Kanupriya Iyer origin story. Because a lot of you had asked me about, where I got the ideas from, why did I want to write and other things, and I don't think I've answered that in any other video of mine. So let's start. So I've started writing right from when I was, I think, in 4th or 5th grade. Like seriously writing a story or something for pleasure and not something that was school or work related. So I started writing, there was a superhero story that I created. There was this girl superhero, and I think I wrote about 5 episodes of that. One was the how she became a superhero, and then 4 other episodes of how she fights villains and stuff. And I used to write that on pieces of paper, not even a book. So I didn't know, write it in a nice proper book so you can save it. So I still don't have that anymore. I tried copying it all into one book that I had. There was this one creative writing book where I used to write everything that I used to write. I left 10 pages for me to copy those 5 chapters, but I was too lazy and I lost that 5-6 pages of chapters that I had. And then in that creative writing book, I used to write short stories, book ideas, but I have always lacked in patience. So I used to start with a awesome idea in my head, and in those times, I think when I was in 4th, 5th, 6th, I used to read a lot of Enid Blyton. So Enid Blyton was my favorite author. That was a superlative that I need to use. So I used to read a lot of her books. Like almost every day I used to go to the library, borrow 2 Enid Blyton books, finish reading them that day or the next day, and return it to them the next evening and get another 2 books. So that's how voraciously I used to read Enid Blyton. So I used to write a lot of faraway tree-esque, fantasy stories with elves, gnomes, fairies, pixies, all of that. And I used to start with a, awesome, fantastic starting. There's these 2 kids. They get lost in fairyland. One of them gets attacked. This happens, that happens. And 5 or 6 chapters into the story, my patience runs out and I'm like, I have to finish with this. I can't write anymore. And I used to end it abruptly. Like, okay, they were attacked and then they got saved and story over. That's how it used to be. So a full book or full story writing was never something that I did until 2020 Jan, when I started writing my first fantasy series. Nope, not Humsuffers, a fantasy series. And at that time I used to read a lot of fantasy, so I was like, no, let's write a fantasy for a change. And I told a lot of my school friends about it, and all of them were very excited. And I was like, if this turns out to be interesting, I'll probably publish it and stuff like that. And then midway, I lost interest. Sorry guys, I lost interest. It was supposed to be a series, but I couldn't even finish the first book. So I stopped it right in the middle. And then in March 2020 or something, just before the lockdown, just a few days before the lockdown, I started writing Humsuffers. And when I started, Humsuffers was supposed to be a college love story. And I was like, completely unrelatable, I can't do that. And then I went ahead to write a marriage story, which is also unrelatable. My brain's a weird place. So, I don't know. I started with one college chapter and I was like, this is something I really can't do, scrap it. Then I started with that first Samantha chapter. And at the beginning, that date part with which the whole story begins was not there. It was like, that was the day we finally met him, blah, blah, blah. And the rest of the chapter is actually practically the same as the first draft. I have not edited it much. It's just a little bit changes here and there. So I started with that chapter and I was like, the story is going good. Let's narrate the Akash perspective. And then the story just started flowing. And my writing process for that book was not very rigorous. Whenever I felt like it, when I felt like I had a little time on my hands, I used to write. And it was also the lockdown. So the whole day I was practically free after my online classes. So whenever I felt like writing, I used to write. And that's how the book came out. So by May, June, I was done with Humsuffers. And by July, we'd start with the publishing process and everything. And so that's how Humsuffers came out. A very, very raw, very slow process. I added the prologue and the epilogue and everything right in the end. Because I thought, the book started very abruptly. So it was all additions in the end. But the book that was the most organizedly written was The Family Lockdown. I'm very candid with my words in this video. I don't know why. So, my writing process for the family lockdown was very, very strict, and every day I have to churn up one chapter. That's all. Rules, hard and fast rules. So, in the beginning, if you ask me exactly where, when, how I got the idea for TFL, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I thought a story about a family during the lockdown with spanning multiple generations would be fun, because this story, okay, I have not even told this in the introduction story. So if you've gone this far, this one's for you. This one's a reward for you. So there's Sumesh and Shekhar, the generation 1, the Gen Z. Then there's Krishnan, Radhika, Lata and Ramya. They're the second generation. Then there's Appa, Amma and Amma's 2 sisters, Aunt Lakshmi and Aunt Saraswati, Gen 3. And then there's Pati and Tata, 4 generations. So 4 generations in the same house, completely different life experiences. There's a completely different set of values that they follow. So that was fun. There was this whole, Tata and Pati wanting something, the kids doing something. So it's a lot of fun, guys. And the genre, humor was also not decided. When I started writing Humsuffers, I knew it's going to be a love story. So drama, romance was decided. When I started this was supposed to be a family story. But a few chapters into the story, I thought, I had started adding a lot of humorous incidents in there. So then I decided, okay, this is a humor book. The thing was, I also, because the thing about TFL is that in Humsuffers, the chapters were named after the character who was narrating them. Because the first chapter narrated by Samantha, it's called Samantha. Second chapter narrated by Akash, it's called Akash. But in The Family Lockdown, it's not so. Because every chapter is narrated by Krishnan. And then, because of that, the chapters are actually dated. So there's February 1, there's February 5, and that's how the thing goes. Because the lockdown happened during a proper time period in the world history. So the chapters are also dated according to the day in which they happen and the day in which they're narrated. It's all in past tense. The whole book is in past tense, but the day in which it happened is the chapter title. So that is one new thing. And that's why when I started writing, like the first day when I was like, okay, this is the book I'm going to write. This is my second book. I'm going to start. I made a Word file with, dates and the events that were supposed to happen. So every day I just used to go, okay, I've written this chapter. This is the next chapter. Okay, I'll start. So it was a very, very planned, methodical way. And I really tell you, I enjoyed writing The Family Lockdown so much more than Humsuffers. This was really my favorite book to write, a process that I enjoyed thoroughly. The months in which I wrote that, they were truly the happiest months of my life. Really, I enjoyed that period so damn much. And in the end, I added a few chapters in the middle where, as and when I got ideas, after I was done with the basic plot of all the chapters that I had mentioned in that Word document. And then, in the end, after a few editings and everything, the book was out. And so that was my process for The Family Lockdown. And then now I do have ideas for a few other books, and I am working on book 3. I'm a very, very, very... since I started writing Humsuffers, I've enjoyed writing so much. It's like my escape from the world. And the book that I'm currently writing is very, very therapeutic. So whatever thoughts, feelings I have, I translate them into the thoughts of my characters. So it's like me reliving my life and, changing the endings, doing different things in there. So yeah. So it's really, really a good, happy, enjoyable experience for me. And book 3 is will be coming out. I don't know if it's soon because I've just started writing it. So it'll be coming out. So until then, read Humsuffers, read The Family Lockdown. Let me know what you think. So this is my writing process, and most of my ideas I get from real life, from dreams, from thoughts that I have, from things that I see and observe. So that's basically it. I don't have a methodical process or anything. But currently I'm in a very creative phase of my life. I hope it continues for a long, long time so I can keep churning out books for you guys. And for myself, because it gives me just so much happiness and such a huge sense of purpose. So yeah, this is my process and this is how I write. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this very, very, very long video of me talking. I've already shot so many takes because I was rambling. This is one good video. I think this will make the final cut. So if this does, this made the final cut. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you soon.